They were talking to him. He was yelling at them because we were like, let us go in. Let us talk to him. Let us try to go inside. Let us try to get him in. Because then we see SWAT people coming, and we're like, why are we going to SWAT? Why is that they coming? Why are they coming? And then it just escalated to 2 or 3 SWAT people, and it just seemed like then they go in, and then we hear 2 shots. We thought they had hit or used a pellet gun or something. And the way they said it to us was like, you got a pellet gun. Oh, you guys can go down to the hospital and see him. He'll be okay. Like, they made us feel that. So we're like, oh, okay. And then they're asking us questions, and then we kept calling the hospital. We didn't get any answers. Can't find out. And we're like, he just came in through the EMS. No one knows. And then one of the detectives came back, and one was standing there talking to me, and she came, and she goes, well, you know, he's still in surgery. And I'm going, surgery? Well, what does he do in surgery? You guys first said there's nothing wrong. Now you're telling me he's in surgery. And then she kind of stopped talking and walked away. So what happened with surgery? Why is he in surgery? You guys are lying to us. You're not telling us what's going on with him. You're not telling us what happened. You have us believe he got hit with a pellet gun and he was going to be okay. We just go down there. And then another was still there for, I don't know, another hour or so, and then someone else comes, and then he just said he had died. He just said, who was the one that called? Oh, this is the family. Oh, we just want to let you know that he's dead. And that was it. That's how it was. I don't understand it, because I call crisis unit. We call his sister, his mom, all of us have been called trying to get him help. And we know, because I told them the first day the police came, and that was over, I wish I kept dates. It was almost a month ago. And he said, oh, I came here the last time, because November 11th, in 2011, they did the same thing. I said, but we have called, because he said, oh, does he suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder? I said, no, all of us do, because they shot him before. But thank God it was in his arm. Not that we want his arm to get hurt, but he had lost use of his left arm from them shooting him before. And then calling different units. I even called Essex County to see if it was better than Hudson County. But then they kept referring us back to Jersey City Medical Center and to that crisis unit, and the same thing. We have a list, and we have people on the list, and you're not. And I'm like, but if I called you like 3 days ago, when do we get to the top? When do we get to the top of the list? But they just never came out, and it was always, there's a list, and we'll get to him when we can. And then they'll call and go, oh, we did go, but nobody answered the door. I blame the whole system, because it's not working together. I mean, if these are SWAT teams who are supposed to be professionally trained, they should be trained enough to handle a mental illness situation. We have had, like I told you about Eleanor Bumpers, there have been histories of these things going on for years. Years. This isn't new. So something should have been done. They should have something better. And that right now, the height of mental illness is so high with people right now. It's terribly high. And we know there's so much stress. I don't know if it came from COVID, what is the onset of this, but we're seeing this across the board with everyone, especially with mentally ill patients. So, I don't know. I just blame them all. But I know with the police, with us standing right there and not telling us the truth and not letting us know what's going on or what they did, I blame them for when they came here and why SWAT had to come. Because who's trained in this? If they're highly trained and they're professionals, why didn't they take the time to do that? Or why didn't they call a mental illness person to come and talk to him if they know that's the situation?
Bipolar, schizo. He's had an episode these past few months. We've been calling the crisis center. He was admitted to the crisis center about 7 days ago. He was released 7 days ago, and he stayed for 7 days. And we told him that he wasn't ready to come home. So we called the crisis center and told them to please, come and check on him, do a wellness check on him. So every time they came, they couldn't get in. We called yesterday, and they came. The paramedics came, and the police came, same police, and he was sitting on the porch. They would not go up on the porch. They said that he was not agitated enough to go up on the porch. So they never even questioned it. So today when we called, they go in the hallway up in the apartment. He doesn't want to open the door. He's banging, saying, no, I'm not opening the door. No. And I'm saying, you're going to agitate him. I said, please, let Glenda said, I'll go up and talk, so let me see if I can open the door for him. They said no. So they told us to back up, right? So when the guys are going in, I said, please, I said, do not shoot him. I said, he's mental. I said, he's harmless. He may act like that, but he's harmless. You have a taser and you have a pellet. Just use that. Do not shoot him. Use your taser or pellet. Every cop that walked past, I said it. And I heard this pow. I said, oh, they just shot you. Then my cousin said, no, that had to be a pellet. That had to be a pellet because it was not that loud. On that silence, I don't know what they had on. They picked him. They picked him up and carried. That's what happened. They kicked him up. They picked him up and they carried him out. Now we're standing saying, is he all right? Is he all right? Should we go to the hospital? Is he all right? They said, we need you to stay here for an investigation. So I'm still standing there. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. That time they shot him, we ran to the hospital. This doesn't seem right. I said, I'm going to the hospital. Because I stood there for a few minutes. I went to the hospital. When I went to the hospital.
Second time shot.
Yeah, second time.
When was he first time shot?
In 2011. Same incident, same thing. Begged them to. That's why we're afraid to call the police. But we trusted this time, like dummies. Begged them not to shoot him. We know he's going to be agitated when you go up there.
What time this happened?
Jet, what time did you go to the thing? 2:30. It was early. It was early.
And did anyone call for disturbance or?
We called for him to go to the crisis center because he wasn't acting, and it's heartbreaking because maybe he shouldn't have made the phone call.
And how old was this gentleman?
51.
What his name?
Andrew Washington.
And what disorder he had exactly?
Bipolar. Yeah.
And you're related to him as a what?
He's my nephew. He's my sister's son.
How would you describe his personality like?
Funny, good guy, big heart, right? Took care of his own business. His problem was that he had, it was heartbreaking that he had that illness. If you knew anybody that knew Drew, that's what they would say. Right. Anybody that knew him, because he wasn't violent at all. And that's what we tried to explain to him. The first group of people that showed up, officers, they were kind of understanding. But then once the SWAT team came, which I don't understand why. I said, why is the SWAT team here?
Who did the SWAT?
Yes, the SWAT team went in. And he was at the door, banging on the door, telling him not to come in.
So what's your message to the Jersey City Police and the mayor of the city?
They need to do better when it comes to mental patients. They need to be more compassionate and more understanding when they shoot someone and the family members are standing outside waiting to find out, and they sit here for 3 hours and have to act like crazy fools for them to finally tell us that they killed our nephew.
How long it took you to find out that?
About 3 hours. About 3 hours.
And you found out in the hospital?
No, we found out after screaming up. They were doing all kinds of trucks, this, that, and I'm like, why is all this stuff here? So I just start screaming, "Where's Drew? Where's Drew?" And that's when they finally told us. After the prosecutor came, I said, "This is wrong." Then the rope, I said, "Something's not right." But they kept us here for 3 hours before they told us. They told my sister. I was in the house. I just heard her crying. I knew already. I knew.
You have anything else you want to say, ma'am?
No, that's it. I'm just brokenhearted.
Can you spell your name?
Lisamendez. Lisa Mendez.
Thank you. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I saw this white truck. I said, why is this here now? Now this is blocked up. I start screaming, "Where's my nephew? Where's Drew? Where's Drew?" That's when they told us.
That's when they told you.
3 hours after I lost my mind. I couldn't take it anymore.
What did they tell you?
Well, they tell me because I told my sister. She started screaming. They said that he died in surgery. Now we could have been down there praying for him while he was in surgery. They didn't tell us anything.
Tell us a little bit about Drew.
Good person, right, Fred?
Yes.
Good person. That's his stepfather right there behind us.
I'm sorry.
Good, a good person. Only thing problem was if he didn't take his medication, then he would do he's bipolar, so he talked to himself, and then we didn't want him to hurt himself, and that was the whole thing. But Drew, if you ask anybody that knows Andrew Jerome Washington, they'll tell you he's a good, funny guy, good person. The only thing was that he had an illness, and he wouldn't take his medication, and that could have been handled so differently.
Do you think he was acting aggressively towards police, or what do you
They
think
was at his door, knocking on his door. That's when we said he would act aggressive. If you go into his apartment, they was at his door. He wouldn't open up the door. That's when we were yelling, let somebody else, one of us, go up and see if we can have ask him to open up the door. They would not listen. This one right here, Glenda, asked, could I please go up and talk to him because he'll listen to me. They would not listen. They would not listen. I kept saying, please, if you're going to do anything, because I know he's going to be acting, pellet gun or taser. You got that? Pellet gun or taser. And every guy, and then all of a sudden the SWAT people, I'm saying, pellet gun, do not shoot him. Do not shoot him. Pow, pow, pow. Then when they bring him out, we're thinking pellet gun, right? Because if we see blasted, he's bleeding. So now they're saying, I said, is he okay? We have to do an investigation. This is what they're saying to us. I'm standing there for a minute, investigating. I said, no, I'm going to the hospital. Go to the hospital. They won't give us any information. We can't find out because his name is not down, he's a number or something they were saying. So, okay, I come back. I see this big white truck now and the rope is here. I'm like, what is going on? Where's Drew? Where's Drew? So that's when and they finally told us.
Let me ask
But
you
that's about 3 hours.
Why did family members call police? What was happening today?
Oh, he was banging inside the apartment. He was upset inside his apartment. He was upset. He was upset.
And tell me what happened yesterday.
Well, see, Drew walks around talking to himself. All right. So we don't want him to hurt himself because he's going to be a roster. He's sort of schizo. So we know we've been going through this since he was like 21 years old. We know once he's in the crisis center, he gets in there for like 30 days. He's okay. And that's happened, and he hasn't had an episode that's why we was really concerned, because Drew hasn't had an episode since 2012. So, and we just didn't catch that he wasn't taking his meds, because he lives by himself. So we were very concerned. We don't hear from him or anything, because bipolar could go either way. So that's out of concern and out of trusting the police. But actually trusting the crisis center, because we didn't call it the police. We called it the crisis center. And the crisis center was aware because he was there 7 days prior. They released him too soon. We called and asked him at that time that he wasn't ready to be released, and they still released him.
How old is he?
51. That's why.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's just mental disorder. It's just, I don't think they have anything set up to save anybody that's real, and that's real. Because he could call his own shots. We couldn't say no because he's 51, and I don't know how they didn't catch it. I don't know, but this is heartbreaking right now.
For the whole family.
It's heartbreaking. I just don't understand why they had to go in there and not once, but twice shoot him.
How many shots did you hear?
I heard 3, but they say he shot him twice.
Can you tell us your name, please?
I'm Lisa Mendez.
Lisa Mendez.
I'm his
and
aunt.
You're his aunt. And would you like to talk about what you've been through? No, I'm so sorry. So I may just ask you just because I want to write it down. Lisa Mendez.
Yes.
And
I said this. You don't want to.
I get people that always want to buy my house. Okay. Yeah. They calling me, want to buy you, want to sell your house. Yeah. You know, one person,
Your Mac.
Everybody around here, these police just killed my uncle. Where you at right now?
At Courtney.
Oh, so you talk about should I have iPhones?
Knew from the very beginning that he was a mental patient and he was out